So this story time is insane for a lot of reasons, and I've been waiting to tell it for a while now. And it's interesting because pretty much all these story times usually involve me getting hurt, but this time it's not me. But it was still a friend of mine, and it's never a good day when anybody gets hurt. And I witnessed it, and it was crazy, and I'm going to tell you about it. Okay. So today's story time all takes place in 2017. Okay. Now in 2017. Was kind of like the era of the vape, in my opinion. I mean, I think they started to actually get popular in like 2015, 16, somewhere around there. But my friend group in specific all started vaping like hardcore the beginning of 2017. That's like, I think everyone I knew had either a Juul or a box mod. And I personally had one, but I didn't really use it because I'd never really been hooked on nicotine. I smoked cigarettes here and there growing up, and like I had a vape, but I would either not hit it because I didn't want to, deal with the nicotine, or I'd get no nic juice. So it kind of usually just sat vacant on my nightstand. But a bunch of my friends, man, they were like hooked on vaping. Like they would constantly be hitting them shits, and they like build their own mods and like order them online, and they had like different kinds and shit. I can't lie, I was a little bit cringe looking back, and even during the time, like I would look at it and be like, damn, like this is kind of like a little bit much. I don't know, like not saying it's cringy if you vape, but the way my friends were doing it, damn, it was like a little cringy. Anyway, I had this one friend, okay, her name was Sarah. And I had been friends with Sarah since I was 12 years old, and I still am to this day. And for some reason, Sarah was like so into vaping, more than anybody I knew. She had like 5 different like mods. She had a Juul. Like it was really just kind of an unhealthy obsession at this point, and I would always mess with her about it. I'd be like, dude, you're starting a fucking vape collection. At what point is it too much? You got like 5 box mods, a Juul, probably got some other shit I don't know about. Like, just get one vape and call it a day. Why do you need fucking 6? And she would justify it by being like, oh, well, this one has, this flavor, and then this one has this flavor, and this one's smaller, it's the Juul, and, this one has different nicotine content. And I was like, yo, all right, fine, you do you. I won't judge, but it's a little bit much. Anyway, all right, one day in early 2017, Sarah and me are hanging out at her house, and she's on her MacBook, and she's looking at this vape online. And I already thought that buying a vape off the internet was stupid, because you can't see it in person, you can't see how it works. Also, the site she was on looked so sketchy, it looked just super weird and super, like, scam-like. And she was showing me this vape she was looking at, and she was like, should I get this one? And I was like, you want me to be honest? She's like, yeah. I'm like, no, you shouldn't get that one. You have like 6 already. Maybe sell a couple first. She was like, yeah, but this one's like the best one. I feel like this would be like my main one. She called it her daily driver. I'm like, dude, do you, man? You want to get one? Go for it. All I'm saying is this site looks sketchy as fuck, and don't come crying when that shit explodes in your hand. And I was fucking joking, okay? I was completely kidding. I didn't think this shit would actually explode, okay? I really didn't. I thought that it was just a funny looking vape, and I was making a joke. But 2 weeks later, she got the vape, and I was at her house, and she was hitting it, blowing these fucking obnoxiously big clouds in my damn face, and I'm sitting there like borderline annoyed, but it was working well. And I really thought that I ate my words. I thought that that site wasn't a scam, they didn't sell shitty cheap products, and that the vape was actually high quality. But while I was at her house, and she was hitting this vape about an hour after getting there, right? She'd been hitting it for about an hour. I think the total time she'd been hitting it was for about 2 days, because she had gotten it 2 days ago. So she realistically was on day 2 with this thing. And we're in her room, listening to music, talking like we always would. She was hitting her vape 24/7. And all of a sudden, I start smelling something weird. It smells like something's burning. And I look at her, and she looks at me. And I was like, do you smell that? She's like, yeah, I think it's my vape. And I look, and there's like smoke coming out of it, out of her hand. And I'm like, yo, I think it's like malfunctioning or something. And she was like, no, I think I got some juice stuck, like where you hold down. I think it's just stuck hitting. I think the cotton's just burning. And I was like, no, that doesn't look like it's vaping. That looks like it's smoking. And then more starts coming out. And it's like looking concerning, and it's smelling more and more like a burning smell. It smells like burnt popcorn. And I was like, yo, put it down. That's all I said. Because like I had a feeling some shit was about to happen. I'm like, yo, put that down. She goes, it's fine, look. And she presses down on it to like show me that it's just like stuck. And I shit you not, this thing blows up like a mini fucking grenade in her hand. It was actually so much more powerful than I thought a vape explosion could be. Like, I really thought, oh, it might, like, spark a little bit, right? This thing, like, legitimately exploded. And it, like, flung at the wall. And her hand looked insane. Like, I don't want to get too in detail because it's kind of gruesome. But her hand definitely needed medical attention, okay? It, like, looked charred in certain parts. There was definitely some open wounds. And I'm actually surprised she didn't get hurt more. Not saying she wasn't hurt enough, but like the size of that vape blowing up, I really thought it was going to be a lot worse. Anyway, she starts freaking out, crying, screaming. And I'm like, hold on, relax. And I grab some cold water and I'm pouring it over it. Not even sure if that's what you're supposed to do in that situation, but I know for burns and stuff, I heard that's what you're supposed to do, so that's what I was doing. Her parents ended up rushing into the room, freaking out, like asking what happened, like what's going on. We told them. Her dad immediately ran out of the room, came back with a little bath towel, wrapped her hand up in it, and started, moving her out of the room, walking her out to go to the hospital. And her mom ran back in with another towel for me because the vape was still in the corner smoking. So I ran over to it, beat it with a towel a couple of times. Didn't seem to do much, so I grabbed my water bottle and I poured some cold water on it. Once again, I have no idea if you're supposed to do that, like pour water on a vape-induced fire, I guess. Like, it wasn't even on fire, it was smoking, but I didn't want it to catch on fire. But I know with like grease fires, if you add water, it's going to make it worse. So I'm not sure if this is like a similar thing. Either way, I poured water on this vape that was smoking to, stop it from catching on fire. And it seemed to work. The smoke stopped. I heard a sizzling noise, so it seems like it put something out. And then I threw the towel on it, wrapped it up, and I threw it outside and just left it in the yard where it couldn't, blow up anything else and catch fire on anything else. And then we got in the car. We rushed Sarah to the hospital, got there. She ended up needing a couple different things. I think she got stitches because she had like an open wound. They did some sort of like burn treatment. It wasn't like serious burns. It wasn't where like she needed like skin grafts or anything, but they essentially ended up stitching her up. I think they put some ointment on it. They sent her home with a certain like ointment to put on the wound and the burns and stuff. And overall, she was okay, which is amazing because fucking all I think about is if that was in her mouth. If she was hitting that in her mouth and it blew up, she could have lost an eye, could have died. Like, so many things could have happened that were so much worse. Not saying what happened wasn't bad, because it was, but I'm just so thankful she didn't have the vape in her mouth, because that could have been so much worse. But I remember sitting in the hospital with her when she was getting the stitches. She looks over at me while they're stitching her hand up, and she goes, "You were right." And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "It blew up in my hand." And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, "You literally said, don't come cry to me when it blows up." And I was like, oh shit, I did say that. She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I'm so sorry. I really didn't think it was going to actually blow up." And she was like, "It's okay. I learned my lesson." And I felt so bad after that. And now I don't say things like that because even if I'm joking, shit might actually happen. Anyway, moral of the story is don't be buying e-cigarettes from sketchy retailers. Honestly, if you're not already smoking a vape, don't buy one, period. Don't get hooked on nicotine. That shit's the devil. Anyway, guys, in the end, everybody was okay. Everything was all good. We went home after that, back to Sarah's house. The vape was completely just a charred mess still sitting in the yard. So her dad disposed of it. And we went inside and just had a nice chill night after that and hung out. Oh, forgot to mention, this led to her quitting vaping, which is kind of, good. So that's good. She didn't vape at all after this. She never hit one again because she was so afraid that it would blow up. And I don't blame her. I don't think I would either. But yeah, guys, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys all later. Peace.
I be fully loaded, I be whipping foreign cars. Always stay devoted, mama knew I'd be a star. Now I'm steady flowing.